today is opening up in the red. There are a few worries. Two other things. I did see this. Someone was asking about this yesterday. Ordinals. I'm like, I don't know what ordinals are, but this is NFTs that's stored on the Bitcoin blockchain. And this is causing a whole lot of controversy because you would figure NFTs on Bitcoin's blockchain could help Bitcoin in a big way. If people want to get involved or buy these NFTs, they have to use Bitcoin to pay for it. So that's good, right? But there's a whole community, the diehard Bitcoin guys, really do not want this to happen because it will cause congestion. We know NFTs, when they get hot, like for Ethereum, causes major congestion. But unlike Ethereum, where back in the day, miners were making money left and right from the congestion, Bitcoin's network, the miners make the same. It's just that the network becomes congested. The block rewards stay the same on Bitcoin's network. They're not adjusted based on a percentage or anything like that. So people, diehard Bitcoin guys, are afraid that this may congest the Bitcoin network, cause fees to go up, but the miners are still the same. So there are some that are saying we need to ban them, or the miners need to not verify their transactions or something. I mean, there's a lot of wild things being thrown out there, right? But this is one of the reasons why I say that you don't need everything on top of Bitcoin. I know there's a lot of Bitcoin maxis that feel like, oh, you got to throw on DeFi, you got to throw on smart contracts, you got to throw on NFTs on top of Bitcoin. No, you don't need to do any of those things, okay? These things thrive on other chains that are more suitable for those type of things. Bitcoin should just concentrate on being a store of value, a hedge against inflation, a medium of exchange, right? Like concentrating on Lightning Network, growing that, getting payment apps to utilize Lightning Network or utilize Bitcoin, right? Just make it into a gigantic payment rail and store of value. That's ultimately what Bitcoin should be. There should not be all this other stuff on top of Bitcoin that's just trying to make it more into like a L1, L2 project, and there's no need for that at all. That's why, yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. But I just don't want to cover that real quick. Get ready for Bitcoin. So this is going to be real. It will be introduced by 2030. So the UK is going to come out with their own CDBC. I was going to say ChatGPT. No, they're not. They're going to come out with their own digital currency. And the funny thing is, there are already talks about bank runs, that somehow that everyone is just going to withdraw everything from their bank and buy Bitcoin because everyone wants to buy Bitcoin. I think it's laughable at this point that the UK thinks everyone wants to get rid of their cash and go with the digital currency that their central bank and their government can easily track much easier than they can with fiat. And they have this notion that everyone just go jump in and then make all the traditional banks collapse. What they need to be worried about is Bitcoin and citizens buying Bitcoin with their fiat, not Bitcoin. There's absolutely zero advantage to buy Bitcoin, to buy any CBDCs created by any central banks around the world, because they're essentially the same thing, but now they're digital and they are a lot more trackable. And, what comes with that is basically having every single transaction that you make with that digital currency trackable by the government. Their equivalency, I don't know what Britain's equivalency of the IRS is, whatever agency, right, can now pinpoint and look at every single transaction everyone's making. I don't know, that's a good thing. It's a good thing when it comes to a decentralized digital currency, but when it's a centralized currency that's controlled by a government, well, it's a different story. They could do a lot more bad things or shady things behind the scenes, right? So, but it's funny how this is being circulated that, they're actually going to prohibit people or they're going to prohibit how much can be withdrawn and converted to Bitcoin once it comes out. Like they think that's going to be a real thing. Like everyone just go flock to it. No, everyone's going to be flocking to Bitcoin. That's what they should be worried about. But they can't do anything about it because they can't control Bitcoin, nor can any country out there control Bitcoin. But this shows you Bitcoin long-term holders basically measuring their profitability, right? Whether they were losing money or making money, and they're now flipping upwards, just like the 2018 bottom and 2019 recovery. We are showing the same signs right now. Pretty good. Pretty good. Also, another comparison between now and 2019, we are looking so similar in so many ways. So just take a look how in 2019 we formed that bottom, went sideways a little bit, then we clawed up, and then we kind of hovered a little bit before it started going up. That second leg up, right? You can see the stochastic coming down, and then also RSI coming down, and then quickly flipping back above. Are we in store for that? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. So, I mean, it's eerie how similar our two timelines are, right? Very similar. All right, and then here's something else that's very positive. We have formed a bullish cross on the daily, okay? So from a technical perspective, a golden cross is absolutely fantastic. We formed a death cross right around the beginning of 2022, right? And now we are finally breaking into a golden cross. And from a technical perspective, this is pretty darn good. And here's another thing that's good. Bitcoin supply last active 2 years ago, right? Basically, all-time high, over 50% of Bitcoin being held by long-term holders for at least 2 years, right, is going up and above 50%. Awesome.